This is Lisa Hayden with Channel 6 Central Kentucky TV, focus on Washington County. Today, our first guests are Martha and Arthur Young, who are the first recipients at the 10-year anniversary of the New Pioneers Awards dinner, I suppose it was, or celebration, the Green Living Award. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Well, that was such an exciting evening at the New Pioneers dinner. We had lots of wonderful guests.
Right.
And it was just great to see you all receive the Green Living Award. So you're going to have to tell me about that and what that is for. I think I asked you, Arthur, the other night, but I know you know what it's for your green living. So tell me about that.
Well, I guess it started 10 years ago when New Pioneers started, and I have been involved with New Pioneers since then. And 10 years ago, I was thinking, I had a lot of thoughts in my mind as to my occupation about farming, and when Sister Claire called me, to ask for my help or information or be on board or whatever, I said, okay, you know, it sounded good and it sounded like something that I wanted to pursue. So along with my farming operation, I worked with Sister Claire pretty rigorously for about the first 5 years when they were getting organized, and have been involved since then, but not as much. It's not so much of what I have did. As far as actual hours, my wife, Martha, has probably put in more time than I have actual hours. She's did a lot of work also, but together. So when they said we were going to be, we talked about the nomination or the award, and I said, well, you know, take it as it is, you know. So it did bring back a lot of memories. Sister Claire has put in a lot of work, and the last 10 years to get New Pioneers off the ground, and she is a tireless worker, and she doesn't give up very easy. And
We know that.
yeah,
We've heard that before, right?
yeah. And well, I got some stubbornness in me too. So both of us together, you know, I did what little I could, and we pulled it through.
And as a result, New Pioneers has been very successful.
I agree.
With the membership, and I know you served on the board in the beginning. And but being a farmer, you obviously had a desire to be more conscious about your environment and about sustainability. So that's, you know, and Martha, I know, has, of course, I met you all, I guess, through New Pioneers, and when you would be at the farmer's market every summer with your produce. And so, now tell me, Martha, Arthur's given you the credit here for all the work. So explain to me what he's talking about.
Well, I worked with Sister Claire from the beginning too. Actually, I worked in the office a couple of days a week there for a while. We collaborated pretty heavily on that first video presentation that she made about Washington County being home. And then once we had that, and that was produced by Michael Breeding. Once we had that in hand, then we went all over the county to any organization that would host us, and we tried to reach as many people as we could with that. basically to raise awareness of sustainability and the need to protect the county and to, maintain the green space and all the issues that go with
Green living.
Yeah, green living, exactly. Thank you. Yes, trying to be reasonable about development, but still protect our environment and our living in this county.
Yeah.
So I worked with her quite a while, and then I started writing columns even after I left the office, and I did that for a while, and I'm not doing it right now, but...
They were very good columns, too.
Thank you. It's interesting. I still get people ask me about that after 2 or 3 years of not doing it. It's kind of amazing.
Well, I think you all practice what you preach. So you, not only do you preach about green living, you live it. And that's why you received the award, of course. And so tell me now, Arthur, you're a farmer, been a farmer, I guess, all your life. And
Most of my life.
And your parents were farmers.
Farmers also.
Probably goes back several generations.
Yeah, on my side it does. Yeah, farming. We'll go back 10 years. I've been involved in agriculture most of my life, except for a few years when I was off the farm in my younger days. When I got involved with New Pioneers, I was looking for direction in my life because things were changing, the agricultural picture was changing, and the financial times were really, really tough. And I knew I had to change our possibly look at another endeavor in life, and I didn't want to do that. So I started educating myself into different avenues of making a living. And as far as green, I want to talk a little bit about green farming. I guess I was green farming then and didn't really use the word green. Back then, to me, it meant sustainability and making a profit. And today, farming still, I look at it as in terms of green, but also look at it in terms of sustainability. It has to be profitable and environmentally friendly for generations to come. And the total picture has got to evolve. The total picture of existence has got to evolve out of this, my little model of food production, which just happens to be the production of protein in the form of meat through the animals. And my main focus is on grasses. I used to do row crops, and I left row crops and went to this as I made the change, and I would still this is my model. There are a lot of models out there, ways to make a living off of agriculture, but this is my model. And even today, if I was younger, I may change things a little bit different, but I would not go back. I can't go back once I reach this knowledge of sustainability and environmentally friendly.
So now how do you do that with, you don't have row crops, although, of course other farmers do, and hopefully they can be environmentally friendly as well. But now you're focusing on meat production. Is that correct?
The end product.
Yeah. And so that's with your cows in the field.
And the sheep.
And sheep.
Mm-hmm.
And that is with so you're talking about grasses. So you've got different fields with different grasses to help make sure that the cows and the sheep are getting the nutrients that they need. And then you, see, I'm not a farmer, Arthur, so you have to
Help her out.
help me out on that.
That's the sad part about it. There's not a lot of people that are farmers anymore, but they're interested in how their food is produced.
Right.
And
That's what I'm looking for, the end result. But I like to buy meat that is, hormone-free and all of those things, the antibiotic-free and grass-fed and whatever. So, but I
Well-
want my nutrients, but I don't want all those chemicals.
I'll be the first to say that I am only in the beginning stage of this thing. I'm still learning. I can see the model, but I'll never live long enough to carry the model out. And I'm okay with that, but I've already did a lot of advances. Through the use of farming with nature, I don't know how to describe it, Lisa, except that at times I have to forget what I am producing and look at the whole. I have to look at the whole, and by that I mean I have to look at the environment and the soil. How am I going to produce that? And how am I to work with the biology of the soil and the genetics of the animals, their diet, and so forth and so on. It sounds really, really complex, but it's not. But it is an art. Mm-hmm. It is an art. Holistic management. I've only done it in bits and pieces. I've never taken the course. I would love to, but I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet. But it's got, by holistic management, I mean the whole. It's got environmental.
It's living in harmony, perhaps, with
nature,
the land and the animals and nature and
it's got to all work together. And that being said, I'm really excited about agriculture because there's opportunities in agriculture for a person who wants to enter it, especially in Kentucky here where we have a lot of small farms. Not everybody is cut out to be a farmer, but if you're dedicated, like any business, it's hard work and requires a lot of dedication, but it can be done. And that's the other side of cooperative farming, I'll call it, and heavy use of fossil fuel and which I sometimes wonder if it is sustainable. I know we can produce food for food on top of food, but is it sustainable? And I have to, so I have to ask that question. Is it sustainable, and is it what I really want to do? Again, I can't go back. Once I've got to this point, I'm not going back. And if I was younger, I would do the same thing a little more intensely. And I'm excited about it, what I have learned over the years, and there's a lot of things going on in agriculture that is not sustainable. And that's not to say that everything I do is sustainable. Sometimes when you get out there, you have to do what you have to do. Mm-hmm. And the animals get out and eat this field that you're not supposed to be eating in, and things happen. Yeah. So what we do in agriculture, what I do, is in any business, you carry out your model as best you can, and you live and learn, and hopefully it's better off when you leave it as was before you came.
And I think that speaks volumes right there, Arthur. I think we all struggle with that in our daily lives, you know, to make things better
Yes.
than the way we found them.
Sure.
And so, and as you said, we don't always succeed, and we don't always carry out our model the way we would want to, because there's always setbacks. But you continue to be conscious of that, and try every day to work toward that, accomplishing that goal. And I know, it doesn't just pertain to farming, because, I struggle with that as well in all kinds of ways.
Sure.
Taking my bags to the grocery instead of using plastic. Little ways like that I think we can all, things that we can do right in our home. And I know those are things that Martha does. So I want to hear, because in some of your columns you've mentioned things of that nature too. So tell me some of the things, Martha, that you do to carry out your green living at home.
Well, I grew up like most people in Washington County my age, grew up with a family that raised their own food and canned all year, and I still do as much of that as I can. And, we're very conservative in the way we live. We are very selective about what we buy. We don't believe that every sales pitch that comes along needs to be followed, and we don't use cable TV, and we don't.
You need to use that cable TV so you can watch Central Kentucky TV, Martha.
We use antenna. We still.
Oh, well, now you can get it on your antenna.
Yeah, we're up high enough that we do that. So,
there you go.
We look for workarounds in a lot of things, and I probably carry out more recycle than I bring in. And we have just always been very conservative in what we bought and how we spent money, and we're not ones to run out and buy the latest and greatest, and we don't really believe in shopping as a pastime. It's just been a lifestyle. And my father and family were always conservation people. Father was a big sportsman. He was part of the original group that started Kentucky Fish and Wildlife. So we knew from the very beginning to value the country and the natural life around us. One of my earliest memories was him getting me up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go run trot lines on the Rolling Fork River. And believe me, for a teenage girl, that was not what I wanted to do. But, we just grew up that way, so we were very much aware of being in the country and taking advantage of it.
Yeah. Protecting nature.
Protecting nature and raising your own food and recognizing where it came from.
And the value of the land.
And the value of the land.
Now, how many acres do you all have out? You're in...
We're right on the county line. We have land in both counties.
Okay. And so you've got cows, and so you come from farmers, and you come from farmers, and you all... You said
Actually,
you met here at St. Catherine?
No, I met at the Golden Horseshoe.
Oh, okay, but you're from Nelson County.
Yeah, I was Nelson County. I came up here. I was the first child in my family to go to college, and my father wasn't sure that girls needed to go to college. He told Mother, well, she's just going to get married and have kids. But anyway, my mother insisted that we went to college, and Father was not a farmer. He was a distillery worker. He was an engineer at Seagram's. But we grew up.
What's your maiden name?
Johnson.
Johnson. Oh, lots of Johnsons over in New Haven.
Right. If you know the Johnsons at New Haven, Sherwood Inn, that's my family.
Oh, okay,
So,
yes.
But, I met Arthur and...
over at the Horseshoe, you said
At the Horseshoe. That was where
Arthur,
all
you're
the
from
teenage...
Washington County, though.
That was where all the teenage kids went then, it was...
Oh, yeah.
So that's
I've
where
been there.
Yeah, sure.
And so you what now? Tell me that story. You saw Arthur on the dance floor?
Well, he was a good dancer. So we started going together, and I was living in Louisville like so many people from out here and working down there at the time. And we both wanted to get out of the city, so as we started dating and decided we moved back, bought an old farm down at Manton, a rocky farm down there on the hillside, and after 10 years he decided he'd had enough rocks and hillside, so we moved out to the other end of the county.
So, you all been married how many years?
52 years.
How many?
And you, is that
Or
not right?
53. I lose, it's 52 or 53.
Yeah, 54, I think. Be 54.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're
Now, do
We're
you
clocking right
have
along.
children?
we have 4 children. Steve lives here out of East Texas. He lives in the old schoolhouse at Texas. Works at Lebanon. I have a
He doesn't farm?
no.
Okay.
None of our children are farmers. We have Steve and 3 girls.
Okay.
So, and the girls are all working careers. So,
They don't. Do they live here?
no, Rebecca's in Louisville, but she's working for the Speed Museum, and Rose is in California right now. She's in transition, coming back to Chicago, I think. She works as a project manager for computer systems. And Nancy, my youngest, is married and is a full-time mother right now. Her husband is a professor at Western Michigan. So they're in Kalamazoo.
And so you've got them everywhere.
I do.
Yeah.
So gives me
I hope
an
they-
excuse to get off the farm when I need to.
And I hope it gives them an opportunity to come home.
Well,
and
they're all coming in next week. I'm trying to stock every freezer and everything I've got. So
what's the occasion?
we always have a week in the summertime, and then they come in for a week at Christmas. So we just basically pack the old farmhouse and have a good time.
Oh, that's great.
It is.
So they get to enjoy nature and some green space,
Right,
and visit with the cows
right.
and the sheep.
And sheep and ride Granddad's tractor.
Oh, that's great.
Little boys, of course.
Yeah. So, well, I want to congratulate you on your award, most deserving. I love visiting with you. I hope you'll be down to the farmers market this summer.
And we'll be there. I'm not sure we'll be, have a booth, but we'll be there in
Okay.
some form or function.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Martha and Arthur for
Thank
being
you,
on here
Lisa.
today. And I look forward to visiting on the farm.
Well, sure. Come
Yeah.
in.
Well,
Call
come
us
out.
first.
It's
Call us so we're around in the house.
I'll do it.
we don't have anything special. It's just it's pretty crude,
It's an
but
old farmhouse,
but it works.
it's nice.
And it works. Yeah.
It works, right.
Well, thanks again. Thanks for being on Channel 6.
You're welcome.